It is only through intimacy with God that we learn to trust and obey Him, to do what He has called us to do, and to be whom He has called us to be. Those who know their God do great things. Daniel chapter 11, verse 32. This book contains the most important message this generation needs to hear. Faith Eury Cho is an incredible woman of God and lives and breathes this message. Listen to her and pursue Jesus with everything you have. He will satisfy your deepest needs and longings. He alone is worthy of all honor and glory. He is the goal. He is the prize. Grace and peace. Christine Caine, founder of A21 and Propel Women. Introduction. There is no sweeter manner of living in the world than continuous communion with God. Brother Lawrence, The Practice of the Presence of God. What is the point? This was my desperate search for meaning in the hospital after I gave birth to my second child. Just hours before, my husband and I had walked into the labor and delivery wing, fully confident that all would be well. We had gone through the childbirth routine before, so we were already prepared to celebrate with our newborn son in our arms. Labor came a month earlier than expected, but we had no concerns, just excitement. We were joyfully confident that God was with us, having also the prayers of loved ones who waited in anticipation. There were smiles and laughter in the delivery room. Yet when my son arrived, trauma crashed the party. The room immediately noticed the concerning shades of purple and blue on his face. So the nurses whisked him away for tests. I was left to recover in silent confusion. My mind scrambled to process what was happening. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to hold my son until 24 hours later, and even then, it wasn't without the tubes, wires, and beeping machines that were required to keep him stable in the intensive care unit. Disappointment clouded my spirit, and I asked, why would God allow this? What was the purpose of this darkness? I was a firm believer that God can heal, and in my several years as a pastor, I had witnessed and experienced God doing the inexplainable countless times. So there I was, in my fragile post-delivery state, begging Jesus to do what I knew would be easy for him. Lord, please heal my son. I thought it was a reasonable ask, yet not long after this prayer, a nurse walked into the recovery room to deliver more disappointing news. The test results weren't promising, and they needed to increase his oxygen to support his premature lungs. Under the pressure of my dismay, sorrow began mutating into frustration. Where was God? Was my plea not heard? Did my years of serving the church not merit this one favor? I continued to plead, Lord, please heal my son. What was supposed to be a celebration with friends and family in the hospital turned into days of weeping in a dark room with my cell phone endlessly buzzing with sad face emojis and well wishes. Each day, doctors and nurses came in to explain why more blood work needed to be done and why taking him home wasn't an option. Their matter-of-fact explanations were void of compassion, just as the room felt like it was void of God. Eventually, my desperate prayers slowed to a resentful silence. I had called, but he refused to answer, or so it felt. Perhaps my screaming silence would be heard instead. At this point of my life, I had been a preacher of the good news for years, but I discovered how a moment that strikes just the right nerve can unveil the fragility of one's trust in God. Grief took away every religious propriety I had and reduced me to an angry mother holding a grudge against God in her hospital bed. Although I was an experienced Bible teacher, my understanding of his presence wasn't robust enough to keep my hope breathing in this hour. Even when friends came by to surround my husband and me with fervent intercession, I merely stared at the foot of the bed as my hot tears flowed in protest. What makes sense in the